1 week before the wedding, I caught my fiancé cheating on me in bed. I said angrily. The wedding will go on as scheduled, but the groom is yet to be determined. That night, I impulsively posted on my social media. My fiancé died, and the position of the groom is now available. Anyone who wants it can take it. In the comments section filled with question marks, a stranger who appeared out of nowhere quietly commented, "I'll take it." Ding! Wisnovel reminds you to click the subscribe button in the bottom right corner to read the complete novel. After waiting for 28 years, I finally waited for my wedding day. At this moment, I was happily trying on wedding dresses. The sales manager next to me had a smile on her face as she helped me adjust the dress and complimented me. "Miss Wright, with your fair skin and good figure, this wedding dress really suits you." Her words made me feel exhilarated, and I couldn't help but want to buy this wedding dress right away. Seeing my interest, the sales manager seized the opportunity. "It's such a pity your fiancé didn't come to see how beautiful you are." I blushed instantly and shyly explained on behalf of my fiancé. "He's too busy with work, but he said he would love whatever I wear." "You're so lucky to have such a loving fiancé." Every compliment from the sales manager touched my heart. Without hesitation, I took out my card. "I'll take this one." After trying on wedding dresses all day, my waist and back were sore, and my feet were numb. While the manager was packing the dress for me, I finally had a moment to sit down and quickly sent a message to my best friend. "I've chosen the wedding dress. Come with me tomorrow to try on bridal makeup." My best friend, Haley, was usually quick to reply, but today she didn't respond promptly. When I was sent off by the manager with the wedding dress, my phone finally made a ding sound. I unlocked the screen and saw that Haley had ignored my question and sent me a photo directly. I skeptically opened the photo, but the image was very blurry. I vaguely recognized that it was a picture of a man hugging a woman entering a hotel. Just as I was wondering which celebrity had another scandal exposed, I suddenly noticed that the man in the photo was wearing a coat that looked very familiar. In my memory, my fiancé had the exact same one. I carefully examined the man in the photo and realized that his height, body shape, and even the tilt of his neck were remarkably similar to his. The next message from Haley confirmed my suspicion. "Irene, your fiancé is cheating on you." I angrily hailed a taxi and shouted the name of the hotel to the driver. The driver's eyes widened instantly. He replied excitedly, "Buckle up." Then he quickly started the car. The car shot out like an arrow. The 40-minute journey was shortened to 15 minutes by the driver, and he was more excited than me. Before getting out of the car, I glanced at the enthusiastic driver and asked, "Do you want to come with me?" The driver immediately smiled and nodded, "Sure, I'll be your helper." Haley had been waiting for a long time and grabbed my hand, rushing into the hotel. "He looks exactly like your boyfriend from a distance." I didn't expect it to be true. "All right, let's teach him a lesson. He dares to do such a despicable thing, I won't let him off the hook." I was too angry to say anything throughout the whole process, and my mind felt like mush as my friend pulled me along. When I stood dazedly at the front desk, the receptionist greeted me with a standard smile. "Sorry, ma'am. It's against hotel policy to disclose guest information." This was my first time catching someone cheating, and I had no experience. I immediately became clueless. Haley was about to get tough, but the driver quickly pulled her back. "Hey, her husband is here with another woman. If you don't give us a room key, we'll call the police." The receptionist seemed to be new and turned pale at the driver's words. The driver, who was experienced, pretended to make a call on his phone while continuing to put pressure on the receptionist. "If the police come, I'm sure you understand the consequences for your hotel." "Please, sir, please don't." The receptionist panicked. "Let me ask our manager first." We finally got the room key and immediately rushed to the room. But when I burst in, what caught my eye was two naked bodies entangled together. They were completely oblivious to my presence, still passionately kissing. My blood pressure soared, and I gritted my teeth in anger. "You bastard!" I was full of anger, wanting nothing more than to scare him out of his wits. Two pairs of eyes turned towards me, followed by panicked screams. Tobias Shop hastily put on a pair of pants. not even bothering to zip them up, and crawled on his knees in front of me. "Irene, please listen to my explanation, please." I looked at the woman cowering under the covers and couldn't help but laugh. "So this is what you call working overtime, Tobias? You sure are busy." Tobias sobbed, holding my shoe and crying. "I'm sorry, I won't dare to do it again." My chest ached with anger, and I felt nauseous, even more so than if I had eaten shit. "Get lost." I kicked him in the face, and instantly, 2 streams of blood gushed out of his nostrils. Ignoring the pain, he tried to approach me again. The driver quickly pinned him down. He screamed in pain. "Irene, give me another chance, I beg you. We're about to get married, I promise I won't make any more mistakes." The more I heard, the more disgusted I felt, so I kicked him again. He immediately fell silent, his moans turning into soft whimpers. Haley couldn't wait any longer and took off one of her shoes, charging towards the woman on the bed. "Bitch, I'll kill you." The scene was unbearable to watch. "Irene, do you want to cancel the wedding now?" Haley asked me, her voice hoarse after checking a whole bottle of mineral water. Tobias, on the ground, continued to howl in pain. The more I looked at him, the angrier I became, and even my voice trembled as I spoke. "The wedding will proceed as planned, but the groom is yet to be determined." That night, I impulsively posted a message on my social media. "My fiancé died, and the position of the groom is now available. Anyone who wants it can take it." The comment section exploded with questions, asking what happened, when he died, and how. Images of Tobias cheating flashed through my mind. He committed suicide by jumping in front of a train. I took a big gulp of alcohol and started typing my reply with a fierce attitude. However, among the sea of question marks, there was one comment that stood out and didn't fit in. It was a small and lonely me, quietly waiting for someone to reply within the comment section. "Who is this?" I was confused and immediately clicked on the pure white profile picture, only to see 2 words written beside the username. "Ice Cube. This isn't a minor, is it?" I hesitated and clicked into the person's social media page, which had only one simple and concise post. The post was from last month, with just 4 words. "I want to die." I felt embarrassed, even more certain that this was a minor. I pondered and racked my brain, but I couldn't remember when this minor had added me. "Better delete it," I silently said, quickly searching for the delete contact button. But the next second, a message from this person I referred to as a minor arrived promptly. "I want to be the groom." 6 words shook me to the core. I clicked into the chat box, typing a series of words. "Don't talk nonsense until you're 18. My words were not polite, and there was even a hint of hostility, all thanks to my cheating fiancé. The other person replied instantly. "Let's meet and talk. You decide the time and place." Oh, so he's even using the language style of a domineering CEO. I was amused and felt a ray of light pierce through the gloom in my heart. I wanted to see what this kid was all about. With that in mind, I quickly typed "OK" along with the address of a restaurant and hit send. After a night of sleep, I finally calmed down a bit. It's just a scumbag cheating. And I was lucky enough to know his true face before getting married. Young people, you can take it and let it go. Thinking like this, I picked up my phone and was about to call the wedding company to cancel the wedding. As soon as I unlocked the screen, I saw a message from Tobias. I glanced at it roughly, and it was all a long confession and apology with too many words to handle. The so-called "how much love in the past, how much hatred at this moment, and even a little disgusting. Go to hell." I replied slowly, and then blocked and deleted the whole conversation. Just as I was enjoying the joy of getting rid of the scumbag, a message notification named Ice Cube appeared in my sight. "I have arrived. Short and concise, clear and straightforward, sent 2 hours ago." I was stunned for a moment, not realizing it. And the next second, the memory of getting drunk last night began to flood into my mind like crazy. Moments on social media, picking a groom from my friends list, a minor, meeting at a restaurant. Oh my God, what did I do last night? I actually, after getting drunk, publicly selected a groom from my friends list, and there were actually people who actively volunteered. For 10 minutes, I agonized and hesitated, wondering whether or not to reply to the message. Finally, I picked up my phone and carefully pondered my words. "Are you still waiting for me?" In the instant the message was sent successfully, Ice Cube immediately changed to typing on the other side. Wait. Is he going to reply to me instantly? The next second, still waiting. These two words quickly jumped into my sight. I was petrified on the spot. He's actually still waiting for me. And the next message from him completely shocked me. "Be careful on the way, no rush, I'll wait for you." I almost didn't think about it and rushed out the door, completely forgetting about the Pikachu pajamas I was wearing and the SpongeBob slippers on my feet. All the way, I deeply regretted it. But when I rushed into the restaurant panting, I was dumbfounded. "Mr. Moore at table 3 has been waiting for you for a long time. In order to welcome your arrival, he has specially reserved the place." The waiter kindly and politely led me into the restaurant. I was so nervous that I trembled as I walked. It was a completely bewildering and exciting feeling. Soon, the figure of a person sitting with his back to me appeared in my line of sight. Dressed in a suit, with a straight posture, I could feel that he was a handsome guy just by looking at the back of his head. I, who was usually confident, felt an immense pressure at this moment and suddenly developed social anxiety. Without any hesitation, I turned around and ran away. "Siberian shrew?" A voice behind me promptly sounded. At that moment, I deeply regretted it. Why did I choose it as my username? I mechanically stopped in my tracks, slowly turned around, and forced a smile. "Hey, Ice Cube?" The man in the distance nodded slightly and smiled at me. "It's me." It wasn't until I sat opposite the man in the suit that I could fully see his appearance. His face was sharp and distinct, with a smooth jawline, sword-like eyebrows and eyes, and rosy lips and white teeth, a perfect celebrity face. I admit that this face would easily win me over. The waiter began to serve the dishes, and the whole process was eerily quiet. It wasn't until the waiter left that the man across from me smiled and spoke. "Why did you run just now?" I blushed and just kept smiling foolishly. "Well, I was in a hurry and forgot to change my clothes." His gaze followed my words and slowly drifted to my pajamas, and the smile on the corner of his lips deepened. "It looks good, at least it suits you." Although it was meant as a compliment, I heard 100 derogatory words in it. After the meal, I felt extremely restless, like sitting on pins and needles, with a prickling sensation on my back. In the midst of embarrassment and excitement, I finished 2 steaks and 3 bowls of pumpkin porridge. After being full and satisfied, he finally brought up the main topic. "So, what do you think about me being the groom?" He looked at me sincerely, as if he really wanted to get married urgently. You can't judge a person by their appearance, and at this moment, I felt a bit restrained. "You have such looks, there's no shortage of girls. So why are you in such a hurry to marry a stranger?" The words were straightforward but reasonable, and I mentally gave myself a thumbs up. He suddenly sat up straight, his expression becoming serious. "My fiancé ran away with someone else a month ago, and my wedding is approaching. But I still don't have a bride. My parents are getting old, and I don't want to cancel the wedding at the last minute and worry them. I can only resort to this plan." He spoke very seriously, and the more I listened, the more moved I felt, even thinking that he was talking about me. We both had been cheated on, abandoned, and ridiculed. We were both so pitiful. A tear welled up in my eye, and I said with a heartfelt tone, "Don't worry, I'll help you with this." He remained silent for a while, seemingly surprised that I agreed so readily. It took him a full 5 seconds to slowly smile. "So, it's a deal then?" That night, Haley scolded me mercilessly. "Are you crazy? What if he's a scammer? You don't even know him. And you dare to marry him?" I sat on the sofa, and my delayed rationality gradually came back to me. Under the blow of my fiancé's infidelity, did I impulsively give myself away to someone else? "Did you really agree?" she asked again, unwilling to give up. After a moment of reflection, I nodded heavily. "Yes, I agreed." Her face immediately turned pale. "You refinished?" That person could just be after your looks, or worse, he might harvest your organs. What should I do then? I've already agreed to him. Should I run away now? I grabbed her hand excitedly, feeling a belated fear in my heart. After all, there are indeed many cases of organ trafficking nowadays. Although I grew up without parents and had no attachments, I didn't want to meet Jesus so soon. After contemplating for a while, my best friend finally said seriously, "Delete him first." I thought it made sense, so I immediately took out my phone. However, the moment I unlocked the screen, I was petrified on the spot. $900,000? Under the message of the amount received was Ice Cube's message. "This is the bride price. If it's not enough, I'll make up for it." I looked at Haley, and she immediately leaned over. Then, at a visible speed, her eyes went from a narrow slit to the size of a copper coin. "Irene, I don't think harvesting your organs is worth $900,000. The sudden windfall completely stunned me. Everything felt unreal, like a dream, leaving me overwhelmed. I must be daydreaming. But a few days later, I confirmed that this was not a dream. I had actually hooked up with a wealthy man. His name is Nicholas Moore, and he owns 4 companies and several properties. Since he was young, he had never had anyone he liked. Finally, on his 30th birthday, when his parents' health began to deteriorate, their lifelong wish was to see Nicholas get married. Helpless, Nicholas had to follow his family's arrangements and engage with a woman he had only met once. However, it turned out that the woman was also forced by her family and was unwilling to marry him. So, a month ago, she eloped with her lover. Nicholas worried about this for many days, and then my post appeared in his social media. As the saying goes, sometimes when you search far and wide for something, it may be found nearby without any effort. Later, Nicholas and I reached an agreement. I would help him deceive his parents, and he would pay me in return. I have to say, Nicholas gave me too much money that I couldn't refuse. In just 2 days, we obtained our marriage certificate, and the wedding, which was originally planned to be grand, became simple and was finally cancelled altogether. Of course, I didn't mind because we were only contractually married, and besides, he paid me $50,000 every month. He also said that if I meet someone I like in the future, he will give me a divorce without hesitation. But somehow, I always feel that something is wrong. I only posted out of frustration when I was drunk, but somehow I ended up getting married. However, when I sat in this huge villa, all the concerns completely disappeared. In front of me is a dazzling dressing table, and any skincare product could cost me a month's salary. Not to mention the 12 square meter wardrobe, a whole wall of high-heeled shoes, and countless bags and jewelry. Miss Wright, I am Walsh, Mr. Moore's secretary. These are all prepared by Mr. Moore for you. If there is anything unsatisfactory, please let me know. The man in front of me was gentle and well-mannered. And here is the card. Mr. Moore said you can buy whatever you want. I pretended to be calm and accepted the card. Okay, I understand. The secretary nodded slightly and left. In the instant the door closed, I couldn't hold it anymore, and I began to silently go crazy. While I was joyfully sharing the news with Haley, a call from Nicholas suddenly popped up. My heart skipped a beat instantly. This was the number he personally saved on my phone on the day we got our marriage certificate. I carefully answered the call and cautiously spoke, "Hello, Mr. Moore." There seemed to be a moment of hesitation when he heard my address. And then he chuckled softly.